Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Military Spouse to Millionaire. I am just going to hop right in and just go for it with this episode because I am so excited to tackle this issue. It's not really an issue, it's a commonly asked question or concern that I am super excited to unpack. And that is, can I really find a house during my TLA period? If you don't know what your TLA period is, it's basically your first 30 days on island. You are entitled to stay in a hotel. The military is reimbursing you for the hotel. Temporary lodging allowance is what TLA stands for. During that time, you're also getting a daily per diem amount and you're getting your Hawaii BAH and COLA. I am going to do an entire separate podcast that breaks down and talks about how to use your TLA, what all entitlements that you're going to be getting, and how they all work together to make it so that while staying in TLA, if you're buying a house, you can pocket between $10,000 and $15,000 because that's a big fucking deal. So stay tuned for that podcast episode. I will be making it soon and releasing it shortly. But today we're focusing on, is that 30 days enough time? Because people get all wound up about, I want to buy a house, but I don't want to feel rushed. And is there really enough time while you're, just getting here to do that? Yes, yes, yes. Do not let this freak you out. You guys, on average, we can see between 5 and 8 houses in a day. And when I say a day, I don't mean like a sun up to sundown, having to stop for lunch, needing to get coffee day. I mean, a day of house hunting is anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours. That is a day of house hunting. In 2 to 4 hours, easily, we can see between 5 and 8 properties. You guys, we are on an island. This shit is small. And generally speaking, even if we're doing a little bit of an island tour, and I'll break that down for you in a second because I do have a whole process. I call it the finding home method. And it is what I've used for the last 8 years to set you up for the most success. And it definitely is. I, as a human, I, as a business owner, am a very process driven person. And therefore, my business is very process driven. So I literally have a process that I take everyone through to ensure that I'm setting you up for the most success. And we're going to unpack and talk about that in this episode. So basically, a day of house hunting between 2 hours and 4 hours, 5 to 8 houses. I'm just going to use a real example. Brian and Mackenzie Box, if you're listening to this, shout out to you guys because you killed it. You nailed this process. And I just want to tell everybody, I want to shout it from the rooftops about your success story. So Brian and Mackenzie, they literally started talking to me, I don't even know, like maybe May or June of last year. They got on island March of this year. So not quite a year. And that's normal for me. I start talking to people 6 months, 9 months, before they get here all the time. And that is my preference because exactly what Brian and Mackenzie did was the assignment. And that is they had a client call with me. They asked all of their initial questions after listening to my PCS packet. You guys, if you're wanting to have a call with me, love it. I'll talk to you all day. Nothing makes me happier than having a full day of back-to-back client calls when I sit on my lanai and enjoy my golf course view and talk to all of you guys about how fucking awesome it is to move to Hawaii and answer your questions. But do me the favor, please, especially if you have specifically asked for my PCS packet, listen to it before our call. It will give you the baseline of information that you need to make that a very productive experience. So they listened to the packet. We had our call. They asked their additional questions. After my calls with people, I normally introduce you to Clayton so you can be on his radar as far as like the lending stuff goes. And I set you up in the MLS. The MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service. It's what I have as a realtor to show you houses. Stop using Zillow. That shit is wrong. This is a far more reliable and updated in real-time resource. So I introduced them to Clayton. I set them up in the MLS. days, weeks, months start going. They're in touch with me. We have a group chat. They're sending me houses they like. I'm answering additional questions, giving them feedback on areas. What is happening during all of those months between then and now? They're continuing to get to know the market. They're having their expectations managed as far as what to expect from homes here and price points here and what's normal for here. You cannot put mainland expectations on Hawaii, anything, real estate or anything else. And most importantly, I am continuing to get to know them and their preferences and what they like and don't like. And all of those things are just happening as casual conversations, right? So they land here on a Friday night, right? Like 10 o'clock at night, they land here. They are committed. They want to house hunt first thing Saturday. So I set up showings for 10 or 11 o'clock Saturday morning. And we go to see 7 properties. Now, 1 week before they get here, they hit me up and they're like, hey, we're 1 week inbound. So at that time, I tell them, hey, send me your top 5 favorite properties. They text them to me. I prioritize those properties because those are the ones that they're like really, really excited to see, right? So obviously we want to start with those. And then I also did a little digging in the MLS and I picked out a few more that are in line with what they were liking. And I thought were worth going to see for day one. So that's an important thing, is not only to start engaging with me well ahead of your move. People all the time are like, oh, I'll contact you when I'm 1 month out, 2 months out. You guys, I want to start talking to you like 6 to 9 months out. It's never too early to start talking to me, not only with housing, but with preparations for your move in general. So it's never too early. Get a hold of me as soon as you want. So by them hitting me up 1 week before they get here, I'm able to say, okay, do you have a rental car, or do I need to build it into my schedule to come pick you up at your hotel and drop you back off? Or do you want to meet at the Starbucks by my house and grab a coffee and I'll hop into my car? So normally my preference is, depending on where we're house hunting, my preference is to have you meet me at kind of a central location. It's normally the Walgreens or Starbucks near my house, because we do, generally speaking, at least do some degree of house hunting in like the Ewa, Kapolei, Makakilo area. So I normally have people, if you have a rental car, if not, I will gladly come get you. But I have people meet me kind of at the Walgreens or at the Starbucks. I'll hop in my car, grab a Starbucks for the road, and we begin our house hunting day. This is my preference because this does a couple of things. One, it allows me to give you a little bit of an island tour. Generally speaking, when people are first house hunting, our first day of house hunting, I love to take you around to at least one property in various areas. So we're going to go to a property in Pearl City, in Mililani, in Ewa Beach, Kapolei, Makakilo. We are going to travel around the island and see the different styles of homes, see the different price points, talk about, schools, what's around, just literally everything. And as we're driving from place to place, if we're in the car together, I can be explaining to you like what's near here, or this is where the closest Safeway is, or if you have a preference on a gym that you might want to go to, I can point out all those things and literally give you that island tour. Not to mention, as we're driving from house to house, we can be talking about what you liked, what you didn't like. Because trust me, guys, if we go out and we see 7 houses in a day, by house number 4, your brain is going to be a little mushy because you just see so many houses and it's a little bit overstimulating, not in a bad way, but just it's a lot. And if I'm able to talk to you about each house as we go from house to house, I have sort of trained my brain, and just being good at my profession, I am going to remember the feedback you give me. I'm going to be able to talk you through concerns or questions that you're having on properties in the moment, and that will help us determine what you're liking, what you're not liking, what's normal for Hawaii, what we should see more of. And that sets us up for more success should we need additional house hunting days. And sometimes we don't. So going back to Brian and Mackenzie, they meet me at Walgreens, they hop in my car, we head out, we go house hunting, we see all the houses. Now, we get to house number 4, and there is just something about house number 4. It's the location is right in between where each of them is going to be working. It has a great view. There's nothing behind them. It was reasonably renovated. I think they're going to update their kitchen, but everything else was like good to go. It was a good floor plan. It was just enough of the right things, right? No house is going to be perfect. And as I talk about in a lot of my content, the goal with buying a house in Hawaii is not to buy the dream home. That's not the assignment. The goal for home buying in Hawaii is a stepping stone and just simply a better way to invest over $100,000 of tax-free BAH. And they really understood that. They were very investment minded and knew like, okay, all of these things are like good enough, not perfect. And we actually even saw some houses that were more renovated, but not in an area of the island that met up with their desire to be kind of equal driving distance to work for both of them. So, and that's situational, different people prioritize different things. So basically they landed here on a Friday. We went house hunting on Saturday, saw a bunch of houses. They knew on that day, and we talked about that on the way home. We actually saw that home twice because we finished our house hunting day and they were like, damn, we want a second look at that one house, which is common. That's very normal to want to go back to a house that you're, sort of strongly considering for a second look. So we literally at the end of our house hunting day went back to that house, had a second look, and they were like, damn, we really love this. But everybody has a hard time accepting the fact that they have found the right house or a house that they want to pursue on day one. People think that it needs to be this like tedious, arduous, drawn out, have to see 17 to 25 houses before they make a decision. Especially when you've been looking online for so long, you're like, this is it. This like 4 hours of house hunting and we're done. And that's fine. Like I'll take people to as many houses as they want to see, but I'm actually house hunting with someone right now and they found their house. Like they found the right house. We went to it twice. We did a sit test and the wife was still like, well, I really like this house, but I want to see more houses. And I literally had to flat out ask her, why? Why do you want to see more houses? You're saying that you're excited about this house. You love this house. You can see your family living here. It has everything that you want. Like it checks all the boxes on paper. Why do you want to see more houses? And she's like, well, I want to see more. And that's fine. But I would caution you, if that's your reason for passing on a house that otherwise works for you, just be careful because that particular dynamic, that particular thing is never going to change. You could see 100 houses. New houses come on the market every day. You eventually just have to pick a house. Your reason for wanting to continue to house hunt shouldn't be simply that you want to see what new houses come on the market tomorrow. Now, if we're not finding anything that checks your boxes or makes you warm and fuzzy or works for your family, that is obviously very, very different. And in which case, that's where I take your feedback and give you feedback and do more searching and find you more houses. And that's a different situation. But sitting in a home, being excited about the home, liking the home, and just simply not pursuing a home because you want to see what comes on the market tomorrow, that's a dangerous cycle. Very, very worrisome. That being said, I did want to make sure that, Brian and Mackenzie were going to be happy and for sure feel like they saw enough and didn't, have any regrets. So I said, you know what, guys, tomorrow is Sunday. So fun fact about Hawaii, every Sunday is open house day from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. As long as you've gone house hunting with me at least one time in person, I encourage you, like I set you free. I give you some business cards. I can even map out a few houses that are open houses. And I encourage you to definitely go to open houses. I don't attend open houses with my clients because Sundays for me consists of being at home with my laptop and my phone and Clayton, talking to all of you in real time that are out house hunting. So if you find a house during open house time that you like or have questions on or whatever, I'm standing by ready to run numbers, answer questions, talk about offering. A lot of my clients on Sundays after they've gone to open houses are ready to either offer on an open house that they saw, or they're ready, like Brian and Mackenzie, to offer on a house that we had seen previously that they now feel comfortable offering on because they went and saw a few more things and didn't find anything that beat out, what we had seen previously. And that's exactly what happened. So they knew after going to open houses that the house we had seen previously on day one of house hunting, after 4 properties, was the house they wanted to pursue. So we talked about what the offer structure would look like. I sent it over to my team. Shout out Sean, because he, as I talked about in my last podcast episode, I have a team, an amazing, army of people behind me that make me able to do what I do and how effectively I do it. I send information over to Sean. He starts drafting the offer. It was over to them really that night, but they reviewed it, asked questions. They signed it Monday. We submitted the offer on Monday morning. By Tuesday morning, they were in contract for their home. And by Thursday, we were at their home inspection. So to put it in perspective, they landed on a Friday, house hunted on Saturday and Sunday, offered on a house Monday, got into contract Tuesday, did their home inspection by Thursday. So by 1 week on island, they had completed all of those things. And now, as I'm recording this podcast, I give them their keys next week to their home. And they have gotten to stay in TLA and maximize that TLA time. So that is just an example of a pretty standard client timeline. Now, if you're a little slower than that, if we have a hard time finding a property that you're really liking or excited about, that's okay. Because you guys, even if we see 5 houses a day over 30 days, that is a ton of houses. That is, I don't know how to more clearly put this to you. Even if you're shopping in the $2 million price point, there will not be more than 20 houses on the market at any given time that you'll want to see. We simply do not have the inventory. It's a supply and demand issue, right? Like the Hawaii market is always so strong because we never have enough supply to meet the demand on our market because we're an island and we can't build more houses. And we have every branch of the military here, which represents a demographic of people that have guaranteed money for housing and are always churning on and off this island. So even if you have a ridiculously healthy budget, you're not going to normally have more than about 10 or 15 houses you want to see. To put it in perspective, even if we only saw 5 houses a day, 15 houses is 3 days of house hunting. That still leaves 27 days of your 30 days of TLA to play with. So even if you are a person that's like, nope, I really just want to see what comes on the market tomorrow, what comes on the market tomorrow. New houses come on the market every day. We can play that game. Normally by about 2 weeks, people are like, okay, I've seen enough. I'm done house hunting. But really, it is not uncommon, you guys. 1 to 3 days of house hunting is normally all I need to find you the right house. And then we just write an offer with a contract timeline that lines up with your remaining TLA time to allow you to maximize your TLA time, but be in contract for your house, which gets the housing office off your back. So yeah, in a nutshell, I just really wanted to break down what that looks like, because that is by and large one of the biggest concerns that I get is people are like, well, I don't want to be rushed and I don't want to feel like I have no options, but I want to house hunt. House hunting is easy, guys. It is not time consuming, again, because of the nature of an island. We are on an island. You have to remember that. You can drive around the whole island in 2.5 hours. Us going from Eva, where I am now, to Pearl City, to Mililani, back to Eva, Kapolei, Makakilo, easily in a 4-hour block of time, we could see a house in every single one of those areas. And you're getting a little bit of an island tour while we do it, talking about what's good or not good or better or worse about all of those areas. Those are all common areas where military choose to live. Now, that being said, if we're trekking, over to Kailua Kaneohe, obviously we're going to have a little bit of a longer day because it's easily a 35 to 45 minute drive over there and then back. So if you're someone who is stationed on the Marine Corps base or Pearl Harbor or Hickam or Shafter, and we're house hunting on that side of the island, I will sometimes try to break it up where we do a day over on that side and then a day if you're also looking in like the Eva Beach, Kapolei, Makakilo area, just to keep it still within that kind of like 3 to 4 hour timeline. But again, situational. The overarching point that I'm wanting to reassure you of is that without question, this is all I do is help people move here and find houses during their TLA time. And I promise if you follow the finding home method, if you let me just sort of take you on this journey, on this ride, you will be successful. This is all I do is help people move here, show you houses, educate you on the market, make you feel empowered that not only you're making a good financial decision, but that you've seen an adequate number of options that work for your budget, work for your family. That is all I'm here to do. So if you just kind of follow the method and follow the guidance, I literally have hundreds and hundreds of success stories, guys. You will not fail. So that's it for this episode. I am actually going to start making notes for my next episode, which should be all about TLA and maximizing that during your house hunting. One more quick note, because it just popped into my head as I was saying that. When you get into contract for your house, so you get 30 days of TLA up front. Once you get into contract for your house, you will either get an extension to TLA up to 45 days if you're Army, or up to 60 days if you're Air Force or Navy. This is where a little bit of my issue with the joint travel regulation comes into play, because we should be, and we used to be able as Army families to get that full 60 days, which is what it states in the joint travel regulation. But this year for 2025, they did shorten that to only give us 45 days max TLA time. That's fine. It still should not stress you out, because again, I'm going to have you in contract within your first week or two of being on the island, and then we can write a 30-day closing to still allow you to maximize that 45 days. But it just sticks in my craw a little bit that the Army chose to do that when the other branches did not. So shout out to Navy and Air Force. Good job taking care of your people. But basically, whenever we write your offer, depending on how much TLA time you have left, we can write an offer that allows you to maximize that. So, okay, that's it. I promise I'm going. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I wouldn't have any of this if it weren't for all of you. Bye, guys.